So it's time to move on to the sixth technical session chaired by Dr. Benison Tilagar Christodos, Associate Professor of St. John's College, Palankote. The participants are Dr. K. Robinson, K. Subramaniam Naidu, K. Krishan, M. D. Shahdur Rahman. Dr. K. Robinson, K. Subramaniam Naidu, K. Krishan, M. D. Shahdur Rahman.
Hello everyone, this is Benison. Good morning to each and every one of you. With great pleasure and honor, I would like to begin this session. There are four paper presentations here. Before that, let me thank Dr. Balakrishnan for his wonderful, really useful session. Thank you very much, sir, for your keynote address. And also, I would like to appreciate the organizers who have taken a lot of pain in organizing this program. Thank you, one and all. This is Benison. I'm from Tamil Nadu. I'm from Tinnevelly. I'm working in St. John's College. This is 147-year-old college established by the Christian missionaries. Well, that is about me. Now we have four paper presentations. One is by Dr. K. Robinson, and the next one is by Mr. K. Subramaniam, and the next one is by Mr. K. Krishnan, and the last one is Mr. Mohammed Sadiq Rahman. And these four papers are on different topics. The first one by Dr. K. Robinson is on linguistic issues, and the second one is related to COVID-19 and its impact on multiple sectors in India. Third one is quite interesting. It's a common one. I think everybody can understand because this is a study of academic achievement among adolescents belonging to different sociometric groups. And the fourth one is the political empowerment of women. We talk about women empowerment. We discuss this in different forums, and we are for it. We are for the women empowerment. Political empowerment of women, its necessity and the constitutional safeguards in India. With us is Ms. Pega Sheba. When I asked her to chair this session, she was very happy to do that. So I requested her. Now she's with us. You can see her there on the screen. Hello, Pega. Pega, we are not able to hear you. Could you please unmute yourself?
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here.
Okay. She's from Iran. I know her for the past 7 or 8 years. She's a true research scholar. She's working in a university. So it is really a great thing to have one from Iran too. When so many are here from Malaysia, Japan, and other countries, we have a representative from Iran. Thank you to meet you, Pega Sheba. Now, Pega Sheba will take care of this session. This is paper presentation session. Now she will take it up. Over to Pega Sheba, please.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our National Virtual Conference on Language, Humanities, Sciences, and Education. I'm glad to chair today's conference with the topic Linguistic Issue in Mizoram, Retrospect and Minorities, Perspectives and Challenges by Dr. K. Robinson. He is the Assistant Professor in the Department of Political Science, St. Anthony's College, Bonfile Road, Shillong East, Kazi Hills, Meghalaya. Welcome, Dr. Robinson. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Indeed, it is a pleasure for me to yes. Is it? Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you very much for giving me this time and this opportunity.
We are all ears to hear your presentation.
Okay. Is my voice clear, Miss?
Excuse me, Dr. Robinson. When you
okay, sir.
When you call upon the paper presenters, kindly introduce them.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I rather bother about whether you can hear me or not. Okay, so sorry for inconvenience. Okay, my name is Dr. K. Robinson. Presently, I am working in St. Anthony's College in Shillong, northeast part of India. And this college is one of the oldest in this region. It has been 120 years old college. Okay, I am from Department of Political Science. Today, I'm going to give you paper on the linguistic issue. This is the minorities, how minorities are behaving, how minorities are being treated, okay, in India, particularly in that state of Mizoram. As we have known, the India is India has very good constitution. Just now, Professor Chris Tados has already spoken. Even women's or every tribes, minorities, or any linguistic groups are being protected. However, in some part of India, unexpectedly, some things have been happen. Undesirable things happens, and as a result, many of these linguistic minorities have been vanished. Okay. At the same time, today I'm going to present one of the oldest tribes in Mizoram, or that occupied or that inhabitant in the Indo-Myanmar border, and that of the Bangladesh, so to Bay of Bengal. Okay, so I am going to present that paper today. With your permission, Miss, I think I just can share my slide show, my slides here.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Right.
So here, what I want is the linguistic issue in India has been one of the main problems since its independence, and the state of Mizoram is also not unexceptional to it. The state of Mizoram, I think most of us Indians here will be able to no, especially these days, because it has some kind of border disputes with its neighboring state, that Assam in India. If some of us will be acknowledging that the Mizoram and Assam state border dispute is always at the headline of the national news and all those newspapers. Okay, so when people think that the state of Mizoram has only homogeneity, okay, inhabited by only one tribes or one people, okay, speaking the same language, but that is not the true, okay. And then here within Mizoram, the Mizos whom we call Mizos, they have made up around 70% of the inhabitants of that state, okay, and the rest others such as like Maras and also Chakmas and Lais, they also live along with that of the Mizos. Here, in Mizoram, there are many linguistic groups. These minorities were not being treated well by the majority Mizos. Okay, and if the people, the minorities are not able to speak well, fluently that of Mizos, they will be looked down, saying that Tongpai. So the one who is not being able to speak the state language or the majority language, and they have been known, or they have been called by as duplicate Mizos, or the second class Mizo, yeah, the not real Mizo, and to some extent even that there is be like third Mizos. So that is the way how the people, the minorities are being treated in Mizoram. Okay, and then no other language such as apart from Mizo, even English, Hindi were not being able to fluently intercommunicate in Mizoram. So some of those, even the people from other parts of India, let me just say from the mainland India, it be from Delhi, Kolkata, whoever comes there, if they were not being able to speak or communicate in Mizo, no matter what is their status, they will be looked down. So Mizos had their terminology of calling those the non-Mizo, jeeringly calling them as non-Mizo, such as Vai, the plain people, the people who came from other part of the Indian or anywhere else, and also some Lakhers, okay, to those people, the Maras, to whom I'm going to give today. So they have been calling them in that way. that that shows that there is a kind of unill treatment towards them. So today I'm going to speak that the people of the Maras who occupied this area that I've shown in with the arrow and these red marks. Okay, and here what I would like to say is the Lakhers are or the Maras. Okay, they are one of the major type inhabiting this the part of Bay of Bengal and inhabiting the valley of River Kaladine. So they were fierce warriors, the head hunting tribes. So even the Britishers they could not penetrate directly to them. So what they have to do is they have to get into the inhabitants of the Maras. So from side to side by occupying the surrounding tribes such as the Lai, such as other the Luce Hills and to the from Chittagong Hills tracks. So from side to side they have been trying to penetrate into the main inhabitants of the Maras. So here, as I have said, even though this paper is minority language issue in Mizoram, its main focus is on the Maras, who has been struggling so long with the of the Mizos. Okay, here the Maras were known by the Britishers. From some in the Chittagong Hills, they were known as Shandus. From the Chin Hills, they were known as the Sendongs. And also from these Luce Hills, the present state of Mizoram, they were known as the Lakhers. But their names, which they claim themselves, is that of the Maras. So the Maras are dwelling in the southernmost part of the present state of Mizoram in India and the western belt of Chin state in Myanmar and also Chittagong Hill Tract in Bangladesh. So this is due to the colonization of the subcontinent India. So the Britishers were unable to penetrate into the Maras inhabitants effortlessly. Hence, they have divided the British occupants from the three parts. Now, after the independence of India, Bangladesh, and that of the Myanmar, the Maras were divided into three countries. So the British occupied Luce Hills, Chittagong Hills, and that of Chin Hills, and then eventually penetrated to the Mara country from three mentioned frontiers. As a result, Maras were divided in three countries: India, Myanmar, and those I have mentioned. And the Maras are worse affected by the colonialism, reducing them to minority in all the countries, as well as within the divide within the states in for example in Myanmar it be in Arakan Hills in Myanmar and also that of the Chin Hills province in Myanmar and to some in Chittagong Hill Tract. And I have shown these are the people of Maras in a village. Even though they are in a village, they proudly wear their traditional attires. And then I would also like to look into the consequence of being a minority. As stated above, Maras were minorities in all the three countries, as well as in the state, in Mizoram, in Chin Hills. In democratic countries like India, where majority rules, the minorities had to suffer culturally, linguistically, and politically also. Maras were once the earliest tribes who has consciousness of political self-determination through the influence of the late missionary R.L. Lorraine. However, his dream of creating Mara country was never fulfilled when Maras were divided between the three administrations by the Britishers. So the Maras in Luce Hills, the present Mizoram state, were fervently demanding the creation of Lakher Hills in the early 1920s, as there was fabulous discontentment living along with the Mizos under Luce Hills districts. To their dismay, this was never fully met. Only autonomous district council was being created for the Maras to live in Mizoram, or the so-called the Luce Hills. So Mizo language is very much foreign to the Maras. Moreover, Maras look down on the Mizos. This is mainly because Mizos, they hardly covers any kind of clothes to protect their body. Okay, only wrap around their waist, and that was the way how they used to dress the Mizos. So as a result, the Maras in our forefathers' times, they were looking down on the Mizos or the so-called Lusais. So Mizos were not skillful as Maras in cotton works. Mara made beautiful clothes for both men and women. There are special clothing for their chiefs, okay, chiefs or kings or queens. And then here, once looked down, now become the master. So the Maras, even though they are the major type, the larger type than the Mizos or the surrounding people are around them, because of the colonialism and because of the division into three administrative countries, or now into three countries, they were minority almost in all the three states or within the three countries. So the language which had not has the language has which has no importance has now become the lingua franca, and if one does not speak or write fluently would be mocked and insult. So that was how the Mizos are treating their minorities in in that state. If we look overall Indian, so I think that there are some people speaking the different language in state of Assam, or it be in Tamil Nadu or everywhere. But I don't think people have ever make fun of others' language. So these kind of things are prevalent in Mizoram. The language has its significance even in job hunting for educated people. To get a job in the state, one has to be very fluent in Mizo language, both in writing, reading, and speaking. Therefore, many non-Mizo, such as Maras and Chakmas, have been denied number of jobs in the state. When minorities in Mizoram, such as Mara, speak their language, the Mizo guy would say, "We are all are Mizos. Let us speak in Mizo." So this is the everyday daily practice. They consider Maras or other minorities to be Mizo. However, the so-called they were not being fully accepted as a part of Mizo people or a part of their own people until and unless they convert even their surnames, and if they were able to speak so fluently the Mizo language itself. So one majority in Mizoram are not able to speak the Mizo language or the majority language. They will be mocked and they will be make fun of it. And in public space places, if we speak, they will be very very astonished and they will look what language it is. So I thought you're Mizo, you're not. So that was the daily practice. And also some folk dances, traditional attires were named in Mizo. So those the traditional names or the place of name or the place of a river or whatsoever it is, if they will not be accepting, they will not be
Dr. Robinson,
excuse
due
me.
to, sorry for interruption, due to the time management, we would appreciate it if you would omit some repetitions and just go to the points.
Sure. I will just
Thank you
just
very
get
much.
into yeah. It is about to be closing. Okay, thank you, Miss.
Sure.
So that was it. So they are not accepting the original names of all those the place of name or anything. So this is how the minorities are being treated in Mizoram. So here, one thing that I would like to say, just a few minutes, I'm going to take. So the Maras, once the majority, even which were being feared by the surrounding tribes, even the Britishers, they cannot get through it. So the Maras were very fierce warriors. Uh, it was in the year 2000, no, in the year 1910, two British army officers were burned down alive in the Lakher country. So after that, the Britishers they came with full force and occupy or subdue the Mara warriors. So that was it. So once the Maras were a very big tribe, that however with because of the impact of the colonialism and because of the division between three countries, between India, Bangladesh, and Myanmar, the Maras were reduced into minorities. And now, according to UN record, the Mara people, once very proud people, are now in the red list of the dying language. So my paper here is to conclude, the conclusion is how to go about, how to revive again this dying language or the dying tribe of the Maras. Here, one thing is about 70 population of the Mara population. They prefer to speak Mizo language or accept Mizo language as their first language, and only about 30 are believed to have been communicate in their mother tongue in their families. And in case of younger generation, about 30%, even in the rural, they prefer to communicate among themselves in Mizo. Because when they are not speaking Mizo, the well treatments or a kind of insultment, those things they have faced in the everyday in college life, in their workplace. So they no longer prefer their own language as their first or preferable language. So the challenge before here is the minorities in Mizoram is how to preserve their unique identity, mainly that of their languages. So one thing that can be like even in government of India can also help them to study this minority language in schools, and even if it is possible to the higher and to even the college. If this is not being taken seriously by the government, one day sooner or later, the minority language in Mizoram would be vanish away. So I also gave here one example. Such kind of one language, Ralte language, it has been already vanished in Mizoram. I do not see this one in any UN records. Like the last time it was in 2009, I think. One of the tribe in Andaman and Nicobar Island, Bawai, they have been already has been only extinct from the world. So no one speak Bawa language anymore. So this kind of Ralte language also has been vanished. It has been already some times ago, but no record had ever been happened, and I have not acknowledged anything. So the minorities in Mizoram, they are struggling to preserve their language and their unique identity. Okay, thank you, Miss. Thank you very much. That is my conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Robinson, for your nice presentation. And now, if the participants have any questions, I think they might ask. No questions?
Dr. Robinson, can I
Yes,
forward
sir.
a question, please?
Yes, please.
Yes, sure, please.
Okay. The declining among the Mizoram's people to speak their own native language, is it because any inferiority complex among them?
Yes, sir. One thing is these minorities are very much minor, I would say. In the state of Mizoram, about 70% of populations are the Mizos, and other around 15, maybe some 13, 10, all those are the minorities. So the majority of the Mizos are very much dominating. So as I have already said, if you go and speak in public, if you like, there are two, three people are gathering, and two Mara guys will be there, and two people from Mizo, majority people. If you speak, they would say, "We all are Mizo. Let us speak in Mizo," and they do not accept that the minority language. They don't welcome them. And if you are not able to speak a kind of very fluent, like the accents or like the pronunciation that they have made, if you are not being able to speak them, you will be called as tongpai, like you will be that means like calling to the second citizen. So as a result, now the minorities, those ones that like the Maras, even I myself, I belong to that community. So we tend to develop a kind of self inferiority complex, and as a result, many younger generation mainly they start speaking in Mizo, and so this language is sooner or later going to be vanished or distinct, I feel.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson.
Thank you. Any other questions? No questions? Then thank you very much, Dr. Robinson. That was a great, interesting topic, I think, for all the participants that are listening to you. And that's it. I think the next one is supposed to come. I also like to thank the organizers of such great virtual international conference for the invitation.
ఇదే ఫస్ట్ సెకండ్.
All right, the next presenter is going to be Mr. K. Subramayan Naidu. He is the Assistant Professor of the Department of Economics, SV Arts College, Tirupati. The topic he's going to talk about is about COVID-19 first and second waves, impact on multiple sectors in India. Mr. Naidu, we are waiting for your presentation. Hello, how are you?
Thank you, madam. Thank you. May I audible, madam?
Yes, we are all ears to hear your presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. You can start.
Thank you. Okay. All of you, namaste. Good morning to all.
Good morning.
This is K. Subramanian Naidu, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, SV Arts College, Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanams, Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh, India. And my topic is titled with yes, COVID-19, first wave and second wave, impact on
Your voice are coming with some interruptions.
okay, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. Sharing.
Mr. Naidu, we can't hear you.
Okay, okay. So, topic is COVID-19, first and second waves impact on multiple sectors in India. This is very current situation, very sympathetic and pathetic condition of the globe. So, in this connection, ever since the first case of COVID-19 was reported to today, when almost every country in the world is affected, it is just almost 6 months from the first case officially reported, originally reported first in Wuhan city, China. The COVID-19 virus traveled throughout the world and infected millions. COVID-19 is unstoppable unless a vaccine is developed. As well as, so, being a human tragedy, the COVID-19 pandemic has.
Excuse me, Mr. Naidu, the presentations are also, the slides are not shown. We cannot see the slides.
Yes, madam.
And now I think the connection is completely lost. Hello? Now the slides are on, but we cannot hear you. Mr. Nadu, we cannot hear you. Technical problems. Okay, since there seems to be some problems technically, let's call next one. Mr. Kewal Krishan. He is a research scholar in Departments of Education, Madhab University, Abu Road, Rajasthan, India. Mr. Krishan's title of his presentation is about a study of academic achievement among adolescents belonging to different sociometric groups. Hello, Mr. Krishan.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, one and all. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity for presenting my paper. Myself, Keval Krishan Manas. I'm working as assistant professor in Government Degree College, Doda, J&K. And presently, I'm doing my PhD from Madhav University, Rajasthan. So here I'm going to present my screen.
Yes, Mr. Krishan, we would thank you if the presentation wouldn't exceed 10 minutes because we are facing sort of short of time.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We are all ears to hear your presentation.
Thank you. Can you see
Sure.
my presentation, ma'am? Can you see my screen, ma'am?
No. Yes, we have your voice and your picture at the same time, but not your presentation, not your slides.
Just a minute, ma'am.
Mr. Keval Krishan, we can see you.
Just a minute,
Since we are late and we are lagging behind the schedule, you kindly present what you have written in your paper. That will help us to understand what you have done.
I'm not able to share it. Okay.
Okay, shall we go to next? The connection is lost with, all right. Mr. MD Shahidur Rahman, LLM student, Department of Law, Manipur University, Balapate Memang, Lake Impel, East Manipur, India. Mr. Rahman,
Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Hello.
This is Mohammad Saidur Rahman from Manipur, India. Currently, I'm pursuing LLM at Manipur University Department of Law.
Mm-hmm.
While title of the paper is Political Empowerment of Women, Its Necessity and Constitutional Safeguard in India. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, we can hear you, but there is no picture of you and there is no slides at the same time.
Yeah, I option for oral presentation.
Yeah, now we can see your picture, but there is still no slide.
Yeah,
Slide
I don't
away.
have a slide. I option for oral presentation.
All right, then go on.
Okay, thank you. All human beings are born equally and freely, right and dignity, and all have the freedoms and right without any differentiation of any kind, such as language, religion, race, color, sex, birth, or another event. The Constitution of India guarantees adult suffrage and provide full opportunities and framework to women to participate actively in politics, but it is a pity that the post-independence decades show a decline in women's participation in politics. According to a United Nations report, the Indian Constitution used to prohibit inequality on the basis of gender or sex, but the status of women is uneven in our societies. Expert says that women in India have long been subject to cultural biases that reduce the value of daughters over sons, often seen as an economic burden on families who face high dowry and various expenses. Sex-selective abortions have occurred in India despite a ban on screening for such purposes in 1996. Researchers say that 6 million female fetuses are miscarried every year in India, 2.2% of the annual birth rate. It has dropped the sex ratio so dramatically that in 2011, India had 914 girls for every 1,000 boys amongst children up to 6 years of age since independence in 1947. The most unbalanced sex ratio. Our Constitution provides the articles for gender equality and empowerment of women. Some of the articles are equality before the law, which is defined under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. Article 15, Clause 1, the state shall not discrimination against any citizen on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth, or any of them. Article 15, Clause 3, the state to make any special provision in favor of women and children. Article 21 of the Indian Constitution says that protection of life and personal liberty. Article 39, Clause A, to promote justice on the basis of equal opportunity and to provide free legal aid by suitable legislation or scheme or in any other way to ensure that opportunity before securing justice are not denied to any citizen by economic or other disabilities. The Indian Constitution provides the Article 42 that incorporated a very important provision for the benefit of women. It directs the state to make provision for securing just and human condition of work and for maternity relief. Challenge faced by women in India. When a woman is thrown into a situation where She has to make important decisions that affect the well-being of her family. She is highly vulnerable to exploiter. Apart from these aspects, in the context of the possibility of taking up employment somewhere to earn for the family in dire circumstances, the lack of adequate skill set to put in the confusion of the informal sector, which further provides poverty in India. Instead have come to light where women have been lured and sold by promising prostitutes to work. Examples of sexual abuse and cruel working conditions are also reality for women trapped in the sand of poverty. Life is different but not better for upper class women, educated women, despite their qualifications. Those who work against them work outside their home, while traveling to universities and colleges are a threat to their safety. We need women leadership in political sphere. The purpose with electing more women leaders will serve is the shattering of the age-old stereotype and prejudices. Having more women representation in the political bodies is pivotal for many reasons. Besides serving as a source of role model for other women, elected women representative in the political bodies tends to bring a sharper focus on what is termed as women issues. More participation in political sphere of women also help advance gender equality and also have a positive effect on the range of policy issues and the solution advance. The obstruction and barriers to entry for women legislators are much higher as they contended with several social, cultural, economic, institutional, and structural issues. One way to overcome this challenge is through quotas or reservations. The Constitution 108 Amendment Bill is one of the longest pending legislation in the Indian Parliament. The bill seeks to reserve 33% seat in the Lok Sabha or the lower house of the Indian Parliament in the state legislative assemblies for women. In accordance with the 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment, which reserve the same percentage of seats for women in rural and urban local bodies respectively. The bill has been introduced in the Indian Parliament several times since its initial launch in 1996. But however, the status of the bill remains undecided, primarily due to the lack of political consensus. After a long battle, the bill was passed by the Rajya Sabha, upper house of the parliament, on 9th March 2010. Amidst steep resistance from some political parties, it is yet to be tabled in the Lok Sabha or the House of the People. The bill is the needs of the hour to further improve the political participation of women. It is imperative many of the nations have made legislative and constitutional reform to ensure greater participation of women, and they have been successful. So the passing of this bill would surely help women to come out in the political arena and have a positive impact. Participation of women in the political sphere tend to generate higher citizen confidence in democracy by way of their own participation.
Mr. Rahman,
I would like to conclude that.
Sorry for interruption. We would appreciate it if you mention the most significant point of your presentations because of lack of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
continue that, not just stop it. Just where did he go?
Okay. I would like to conclude that women participation in politics is crucial, and it is important to recognize that women are not a homogeneous group, depending on whether women are young or older, educated or uneducated, live in rural or urban areas. They have very different life experiences that lead to different priorities and needs. Moreover, not every woman elected to parliament or another legislative body will place women's issue or right at the forefront of her own agendas. Clearly, women's representation is not the only factor, but it is a critical factor for the development of inclusive, responsive, and transparent democracies. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Mr.
I
Rahman.
have concluded.
Thank you very much. It was a nice presentation. Is there any questions? Do participants have any questions from Mr. Rahman? All right, thank you again. There seems to be no questions. Let me call Mr. Naidu if the technical problem is solved. Mr. Naidu. Mr. Krishan?
Yes, ma'am. There is one Robinson. His presentation is on. That's why I'm not able to share my screen. Robinson.
No problem, Mr. Cable Cushion. You can straight away present.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
If it is not possible for you to show us your presentation, no problem. You can present
No,
your papers
okay,
on the
sir. But
title.
one Robinson, he has just he's not closed his presentation. That's why I'm not able to connect.
Is it? Mr. Robinson, would you please close your presentation? Mr. Robinson Kithi, can you unmute yourself and interact with us? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Robinson from Meghalaya? No problem, Mr. Cable Kishan. In case it's not working, don't worry. You just present your paper.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
As I said, I'm Keval Krishna Manas, working as assistant professor from Jammu and Kashmir, and doing my PhD from Madhu University, Rajasthan. So the topic of my today's presentation is a study of academic achievement among adolescents belonging to different sociometric groups. As we know that acceptance in the class give the student a sense of belongingness, which develop a positive traits in him or her. The development of such traits is conducive for desirable academic achievement. Academic achievement has more or less positive relationship with sociometric status of pupil. A school, like any other social organization, also involve a good deal of social interaction among its members. Social interaction in a school is centered on giving and receiving instructions. The social relationship in a school may be analyzed in terms of interacting group in school. Social interaction in school is centered on giving certain instructions which can be analyzed in terms of interacting in a school. The most important is pupil group, which has its own moral and ethical code and its customary attitude towards the members of group. Liking for others and their reciprocal feeling toward us are among the most important aspect of social life. Being liked by others can have a significant effect upon their personal well-being. Having friends is important to anyone. Feeling of liking leads to increased associations, and they shape the behavior of an individual in interaction. Groups are formed on the basis of attraction between persons. Scrode, Beckman, 1964. Uh, as far as this study is concerned, uh, acceptance in class give the justification for the students to sense a belongingness, which positive traits in him are of such traits are conducive for desirable academic achievement. Acceptance makes the child satisfied in social relationship with other classmates, and their satisfaction to great extent may help in him or her to raise the level of academic achievement. Academic achievement has more or less positive relationship with the sociometric status of pupil. Moreover, the academic achievement of pupil have great impact on their social acceptance in the classroom groups, which in turn develop positive or negative feelings towards the existing school situation or condition. Rejection by a group member may lead to sufficient to develop undesirable personality traits in students which have direct relation with their adjustment in the school. This small adjustment to some extent has direct bearing on the academic achievement of students. In the view of this, present investigation will be taken to study the academic achievement of 10th class students belonging to different sociometric groups, that is, popular group, neglected, rejected, and isolated. So, as far as objective of this study is concerned, number one is to identify, because identification is very must in the beginning of uh, the school, when the school get open. So it is very crucial to identify. So as far as sociometric is concerned, we can categorize it into 7 groups. And in my this study, I have chosen 4: popular, neglected, rejected, isolated boys and girls on the basis of sociometric status scores. And second objective is to study and compare the significance of difference of mean score on academic achievement between popular, neglected, popular, rejected, popular, isolated, rejected, and isolated sociometric group of students. Third objective is to study and compare the significance of difference of mean score and academic achievement among the socio-metric group of boys and girls group respectively. And fourth one is to study whether there is a significant sex difference in academic achievement among the popular, neglected, rejected, and isolated sociometric group of students. As far as hypothesis is concerned, there will be no significant mean difference on academic achievement between popular, neglected, popular, rejected, popular, isolated, neglected, rejected, neglected, isolated sociometric groups. There will be no significant mean difference on academic achievement among the different sociometric group of students in boys and girls respectively. There will be no significant sex difference in academic achievement among popular, neglected, rejected, isolated sociometric group of students. So this study is limited to somehow the 10th class student studying in various government and private high school and high secondaries of Jammu district. The present study was confined to the co-education institutions only. The present study was confined to 4 sociometric groups, that is popular, neglected, rejected, and isolated. The students in different sociometric groups were identified, and the annual examination marks of 2 classes converted into percentage of 10th class student were taken as a raw data on record of academic achievement. Means a student who is studying in 10th class, 8th and 9th academic record of that very student will be calculated. Next is related with methodology. Population, as I said, population of present study comprise of all the 10th class students studying in various school, government and private schools located in Jammu district. As far as sampling is concerned, the overall The overall sample will consist of 500 students from various schools, out of which 80 students were picked on the basis of fixed sociometric criteria: popular 20, neglected 20, rejected 20, isolated 20, comprises of equal number of boys and girls from each sociometric category. Tools which I apply in this paper, that is sociometric questionnaire, that has been prepared by Dr. A.N. Sharma. That was used to identify three sociometric group of students: four: popular, rejected, neglected, and isolated. And academic achievement I have already discussed. And as far as statistical technique is used, in this paper, I have used mean, standard deviation, and critical ratio uh, for interpretation of the data. And then final finding of this paper comes like this. Inferences based on academic achievement. There is found significant difference between popular and neglected student. The popular students shows higher level of academic achievement than neglected students. There is found significant difference academic achievement in comparison to neglected students between the popular and rejected students. The popular students depicted higher academic achievement than the rejected students. There is found significant difference between the popular and isolated students. The popular students depicted higher academic achievement than the isolated students. Inferences based on academic achievement boys group. There is found no significant difference between popular and neglected boys. The popular and neglected boys are alike in academic achievement level. There is found no significant difference between the popular and rejected boys. The popular and rejected boys are alike in the academic level. There is found significant difference between the popular and isolated boys. The popular student shows higher level of academic achievement. And then as far as inferences based on academic girls group, there is found significant difference between the popular and neglected girls. The popular girls depicted higher level of academic achievement than the neglected girls. There is found significant difference between the popular and rejected girls. The popular girls depicted higher academic level than the rejected one. And last one, inferences based on academic achievement sex difference. There is found significant sex difference among the popular students. The popular girls shows higher academic achievement level than the popular boys. There is found no significant sex difference among the neglected students. The neglected boys and girls depict alike academic achievements. There is found no significant sex difference among the rejected students. The rejected boys and girls show same academic level. There is found no academic sex difference among the isolated students. The isolated students and show the same academic achievement. As far as education implication of this study is concerned, significance implication enumerate from foregoing finding, and it is precisely one of the paramount reasons why we conduct research in the field of education. In the present study, the popular student depict higher academic achievement level than the neglected, rejected, and isolated. In the boys group also, the popular student depict higher academic achievement level than isolated student. Moreover, in girls group, the popular students depict higher academic achievement level than the isolated student. Moreover, in the girls group, the popular students depict higher academic achievement than the neglected, rejected, and isolated student. So there is need to create interest in neglected, rejected, and isolated
Mr.
students.
Krishna,
For
I'm so sorry for the interruption, but as I said before, because of lack of time, it is really appreciated if you mention the main significant points of your.
Okay. Only in 3 points I am going to conclude this.
Thank
Okay. So the need is to create interest in the neglected, rejected, and isolated students towards their academic subject by inculcating healthy competition spirit in them. An awareness program be organized in middle elementary schools from time to time so that the student may develop and insight towards academic subjects and other literary activities. Panchayati Raj institutions, in India we have Panchayati Raj institution and village education committees. They should come forward to aware the parents regarding the education of their wards. They should give full time to the children and not involve them in too much home or domestic affair. It is a duty of every teacher to conduct sociometric tests in the beginning of every new session, identify various sociometric category of students, and then plan their teaching accordingly. Special attention should be given to unaccepted group, that is neglected, rejected, and isolated. A teacher should devise special teaching dose. You can say there should be special remedial teaching classes for these type of students who are neglected, rejected, and isolated, and which can provide teaching as and when required. Thank you very much. This is the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Krishan. That was quite an interesting topic. If there is any questions from the part of the participants, any questions from Mr. Krishan? No.
Excuse me, Priya. I see Evangeline Nightingale ma'am's hand raised. Now we'll ask her to ask what she wants to.
Okay.
Madam Evangeline Nightingale. Madam Evangeline.
Sir, I'm very sorry. By mistake, I happened to press the button. I do not
It's
have
okay,
any
it's
question.
okay.
I'm very
I
sorry.
noticed it.
Yes, that from far.
Even now, no need to apologize. Even now, you can ask a question if you have.
All right. Do we have Mr. Naidu here? Mr. Naidu? It seems he left.
Mr. Subramaniam Naidu. It's not
Naidu.
The pronunciation Naidu. It is
Naidu. All right. No?
No. Now you can wind up, Pega.
All right, then I should. I just like to thank the organizers of such a great international virtual conference, and thanks for the invitation. That was great time, and goodbye to all.